Hello guys and girls, this is Tziatas for LEATHERCRAFT, and today we're going to use one of my patterns in order to create a camera case or a camera belt pouch. It's designed for the Sony RX100, but of course many similarly sized cameras are going to fit inside of it. So why don't we get started? So I've already cut out all the pattern pieces, just like in the video that I've uploaded where I show you how to cut out and use my patterns. And now I'm just gonna cut out the same pieces from the leather, and then we can start the assembly process. Alright, we have our pieces cut out, the two sides. The main piece is also cut out, but it's in the laser right now being engraved. I think you can see it there. And what I'm gonna do next is punch the stitching holes. I'm gonna use the diamond stitching hole prong things and not the holes from the pattern. If you want to use the holes from the pattern, you can just use them. I showed you in the video how to do that, but I'm gonna use these now and gonna show you how to do it if you want to use these. So what you want to do is take your piece of leather and your pattern, lay them exactly on top of each other, and just lay it flat and mark where the stitching hole or the stitching line starts and where it stops. So we then can use this tool to carve along the edge and mark our exact stitching line, so we can then punch all the holes with the diamond prongs. So yeah, let's just get this started. Okay, quick bonus tip, which is pretty important if you're not using the exact holes marked in the pattern, and if you're using diamond prongs like I'm doing now, is that you wanna count the holes that you've punched around the edge of the sides, and then make sure that the number of holes in the main body on each side is even, so that everything lines up nicely when you stitch it together. Okay, and the next step is before assembly to bevel the edges of the pieces that we cannot bevel later. For example, on the sides, you wanna bevel the edges all around on the outside of the pouch. So not on the flesh side, on the shiny side, all around. And here on the top, where we don't have stitching holes, where the opening will be, you wanna bevel the flesh side also. On the rest of the side piece where we have the stitching holes, you don't want to bevel the inside, because if you bevel the inside, it won't line up nicely with the main body of the pouch. on the main body of the pouch, again, you want to bevel the complete skin side, or the flush side, the shiny side of the leather. And you want to bevel both sides on the lid piece, like the stitching hole stops somewhere here. Until the lid, you want to bevel both sides here. And here at the front, you want to also bevel both sides, inside and out, at the front part of the pouch. Oh, and another thing that we can do, it's not necessary, but it's a little bonus, is we can skive the leather. That means making it a little bit thinner on the inside of the stitching holes on the main body. This will make these edges like flex a little bit nicer and conform better to the size of the case, which will make it look a little bit better. You don't want to thin them out too much, because then it becomes too weak and too easily to like break. But thinning them out a little bit can make it look nicer. Of course, this also depends on what thickness of leather you use. I'm using a 2mm or 3mm right here, which might be a little bit thick for what I want to do, so I'm gonna skive them a little bit. Okay, one more thing that we need to do before assembly is to use our pattern, and you can see there's a hole marked here on the lid, which is for the snap closure. So I'm just gonna use this hole pins here and put that hole into the flap, into the closure flap. So now that we can install the snap fastener before we assemble the sides and so on, which is just gonna make it so much easier. Now that we've installed the snap fastener, you might notice we have a metal thing on the inside of our pouch, which is probably not the best thing for our camera or for our lens. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a little scrap piece of leather that we maybe skive down so that it's nice and thin and doesn't bulk up our pouch. And we're just gonna glue that to the inside here on the spot where the snap fastener is, so that we protect our camera or lens. And now this looks a lot better on the inside. It's gonna protect our lens and our camera from scratches from this snap fastener. Okay, one last thing before we can start the assembly process. And it's with this piece, which is the belt loop. I've already punched the holes in the belt loop and in the main body. But what we want to do is bevel the edges. And I usually paint them with this kind of wedge tanned leather, especially with the thick wedge tanned leather. I use this little acrylic marker with leather dye in it. to paint it really dark brown, and then I use a wax paste and my edge slicker to slick the edges and make them look real nice. And that needs to be done before stitching the belt loop to the main body. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, this piece is nice and ready with beveled and slicked edges. So now it's time for us to stitch it on the back of the main body. Okay, I have it set up here in my stitching pony, and we're just gonna do a simple saddle stitch just like I did in my video tutorial on my channel. Okay, now that we have the belt strap attached to the main body, the only thing remaining is to attach the sides and combine the whole thing into a finished product. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we're done with stitching. Now you might notice that there are two snap fasteners here, and that's not because I have two on the lid, but because I made a little mistake while measuring the position of the snap fastener's hole before assembling the case. That's why it's always better to make the hole in the lid first, like it's marked on the pattern, then assemble the whole thing, stitch it together, and then close the lid and see where exactly the hole for the fish snap fastener falls on the main body. Because I attached this one first before assembling, but I just measured wrong, and it should have been 2 or 3 centimeters lower, which I saw after stitching the whole thing together. But yeah, anyways, now that the thing is stitched together, we just wanna refine the edges. If you zoom in, like you see, the outside here is a little bit proud of the main body, on this side probably too. So we're just gonna take a sharp knife and cut off the excess amount of leather, and then we're gonna paint the edge and bevel it as well. Okay, now we have cut off the excess. Now a few of the edges where we cut off, it's now a bit rough, so we're just gonna use the edge beveler again to refine the edges. Alright guys, as you can see, we're ready. Nice and compact, all the edges slicked and smooth, with our belt strap, extra thick and strong. And yeah, sadly I can't show you how the RX100 fits inside of here because I don't have an RX100. I designed the first one of these for a friend with his camera in hand, and right now I have only the pattern to recreate it. So yeah, I guess you just have to try it yourself and fit it to your camera. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope your camera pouch case thing turned out well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you know, like, subscribe and so on. If you have any questions or anything, just drop me a comment below. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.